Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going through my September favorites and flops. I am wearing a lip that's much bolder than I normally do, and I don't hate it, but I don't think I love it. I want you to tell me right now, honestly, in the comments, do we like this bold of a pink or is it a little bit too much? Let me know. Anyway, today we're going to jump into my favorites and flops for the month. I feel like I tried a lot of new products this month, and I have not had this many favorites and this many flops in a long time. So to keep this video from being like an hour long, I'm going to jump right into it. So jumping right in, the first two products are going to be from Aether Beauty. One of them came out of an Ipsy in August. One of them I actually recently got in PR, but these are the Moonlight and Rose Quartz eyeshadow palettes. Now, it is an absolutely beautiful formula, clean, vegan, cruelty-free. It's also a fully recyclable packaging, which is really cool. No magnets or mirrors. This is the Ipsy Halsey box palette, and I think it's a really pretty bold palette. You can get some neutral tones out of it, but what I'm really excited to talk about is the Rose Quartz palette. I find it to be like the cool-toned dream. You get some mauve-y neutrals, some grays. There's enough in here that you can get a lot of everyday colors, and nothing in here is super, like, scary. Even the purpley tone is more on the gray side, so you can get a lot of great staples out of it. Definitely a go-to palette for me. I am currently packing for a trip to New York. I do have a wedding, and I see out of this palette the most beautiful silvery smoky eye, even prettier than the one I have on today, a little bit more cool tone, a little bit like Cruella inspired. So I'll do a tutorial with that again. I will link a video I did where I've already used this palette, but hands down, one of the best finds for me of the month. Something I didn't think I was going to love as much as I do, this is the Wander Beauty Wanderlust Powder Foundation. Mine is in the shade Tan. Anytime I go in with a powder foundation, I always like to go a shade darker because powder tends to be lighter than its liquid counterpart. I do wear the Wander Beauty Nude Illusion in the shade Medium, so when I set down the medium, I like to use the shade Tan. It doesn't give me that line of demarcation where my makeup ends, so it is a good match for me. And even in the pan, it doesn't look like it's going to be too dark, but if I went any lighter, I feel like I would look a little more on the ghostly side. I don't wear it on its own, but I love wearing this over foundation as like a lightweight setting powder with a little bit of a tint. You can absolutely build this up by using the sponge puff it comes with, but I prefer to use it with any old fluffy brush just to set everything together. And pro tip, I love taking this after I've done contour and bronzer and a little bit of blush just to set all of that so that all of my makeup looks like it's showing through my skin as opposed to looking like it's a product sitting on top of my skin. Speaking of blush, I got these in my Ipsy but tried them in a recent first impressions video, and they are some liquid blushes from the brand YC Collection. I am still using the Taupey Tangerine one. This is the shade Guayaba. Absolutely beautiful color. I am wearing it today. I knew I was going very pinky on the lip, so I didn't want a pinky blush. So I went with more of this like terracotta orangey blush, and I think it's beautiful and might be my new favorite color because I feel like it adds some warmth to the skin. I live in Florida, so obviously a sun-kissed vibe is always in season. But especially as like the summer is ending and we're leading into fall, I like to switch into more of those terracotta bricky vibes, especially as I start breaking out my red lipsticks. From RMS Beauty, I also use these in that first impressions video. I tried 4 products in that video. 2 of them were okay. No, they're not a favorite, they're not a flop, but 2 really stole the show. It was a bright red lipstick and blush duo in the shade Beloved. It is a lip and cheek tint that it wasn't this vibrant, it was super natural and really beautiful looking. And I also used the Uncover Up Concealer. I actually use this today as well. I use it as a cream bronzer, cream contour. And that is just something, if you can't find a contour shade or a contour tone you really like, because they all tend to read a little bit gray, you can always go with a neutral deep color concealer just to help to give you that same vibe. Cream makeup is cream makeup, so whether it's marketed as a concealer or it's marketed as a contour, you can use them interchangeably if the shade works for you. I am wearing this one today under a powder bronzer, and it just gives me this like lit from within sculpted glow without looking too heavy. I take it on a dense complexion brush, and I like to stipple and then lift, and I find that it just gives me the most beautiful contour. I will then throw bronzer, blush, and highlight on top, but it really just helps to give that sculpted look to the skin. Also coming out of that same Ipsy, the Galactic Glow on the Go Jet Setter Highlighter. I'm not using it today because honestly I forgot about it because it was underneath a bunch of stuff in my favorites bin. I do keep favorites and flops in a bin right next to me at all times so that if I'm loving something I can kind of put it in there throughout the month and still get to play with it. But this kind of rolled underneath something. Beautiful formula, great highlight. I actually off camera played around with it and found I really do like it. Just adding a little bit of extra intensity to the inner corner because it just reflects light in such a beautiful way that it just amplifies any inner corner highlight. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I have always been a fan of a blinding inner corner highlight, and that has not changed. I'm going to jump into my flops and then come back to favorites because you know I don't like ending on a negative note. The first flop is going to be from Cab Cosmetics. This came out of a Boxycharm this month. I mentioned in that video, it's not a bad product. I don't think it's worth the value. They said it was like a $60 value, and the product just wasn't that great in my opinion. Like, I'm going to take two of the powders here just so you can see on camera what I'm talking about. I'm going to take Vanilla Bean, the what I would call brightening under eye shade, and pop it on the under eye. And it really didn't do much. Like, it is a powder, so it is going to take down shine a little bit. But as far as like brightening the under eye, I don't think there's a ton of pigment in here. I will say exactly what I said in that video. I think this is going to be an amazing product for any newbie who's just getting into makeup or learning about contour, isn't really super comfortable using creams or heavy pigmented products. So it's going to be a great intro intermediate palette. But for anybody who knows what they're doing and has been contouring before, I don't think the pigmentation in here is enough to really warrant using it. From Purlisse, I have the Ageless Glow BB Cream Serum SPF 40. This came in a Boxycharm as well. Way too light for me, but I did off camera do a full wear test on this just to see. I know I didn't like the color, and I mentioned that in the video where I used it, but I did want to try it out to see, like, was it the color, the formula, or both? And it just turned into a greasy mess on me. I'm very oily, so it's definitely not for those of you with oily skin, but if you are more on the dry side, you might really like it. Again, the color didn't match me, so I didn't use it again on camera to give it really that second chance, because obviously it was way too pale. That being said, this is the shade light medium, so the fact that I would need medium or medium tan means that these colors are a little skewed and everything seems to be a little too light, which means that the range is a little less impressive than originally thought, because even though there were 8 shades, supposedly it went to like deep dark, and if I'm light to medium, deep dark is okay, but if I'm already 5 shades in, you shades don't go deep enough. The past month I did play around with the Kimchi Chic The Most concealers. Now there were some products from the line that I did really enjoy. These I just didn't love. I used this one as both a color corrector or as a cream bronzer, and this one as an obvious concealer. I did use this today, and I feel like it just breaks apart. There's not a great amount of coverage, and if I go in with a ton, it actually reduces the coverage of the foundation. And I used a full coverage foundation today and set it with a powder foundation, and my under eyes still don't have the coverage I would like because of this. So gonna pass on those as well. Also from Kimchi Chic, I have the Diamond Shards. It was an eye topper. I'm gonna apply this right now because I didn't dislike it as a product, but I don't think it did enough to warrant needing it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this over the taupey smoky eye I did today. And you can see it really does up the glitter, but I mean, I've been using the Stila formula for years. I've been using the House Labs by Lady Gaga glitters. Even Tarte has some glitters that are really nice, Urban Decay, and I think that this one just doesn't do enough. And you'll notice that it's also kind of picking up the powder eyeshadow underneath, so you can really only layer this on top of other creams, or you'll have to go back and forth between your creams and your powders every single day, or every single, like, step to make sure that it really builds up intensity. Like you can see, it's a lot more sparkly than it was before, but it's not good enough to warrant the price. Also out of Boxycharm, we got the Pinky Rose sticks in Hip Hop and Jazz. They did not blend out, they were not super creamy, and I've worked with a lot of these, like, cream shadow sticks in the past. Beauty For Real has some that I absolutely adore. Bobbi Brown has some. I actually keep one here from Bobbi Brown that I love. I have ones that I love from Laura Mercier. These ones just aren't good in my opinion. I don't think they do enough. They do not blend out. They're a little waxy, and they just sit on the skin in a weird way. Definitely a pass for me. And the last flop, which is honestly not like a true flop, it was just too glowy for me. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Glotion. It's like in between a favorite and a flop, because when I wear this with no makeup on, I think it's like just enough of that little bit of correction, a little bit of glow. It looks very pretty, but I do get pretty shiny with it pretty quickly, so it's something I could only do for like a Zoom call or something. But when I try to use this as a primer under makeup, my makeup melts off my face. It is way too greasy, way too oily, and just not really something that works for my skin type. I think you might really like this if you are more on the dry side, but unfortunately I am not, so that's going to be a pass. And the last two favorites. This also comes from Kimchi. This is the Pot Creme Liquid Eyeshadow. It is a bright foiled shadow. It is absolutely beautiful. This one is in the shade Cashmere, and it just has the most beautiful, high shine, full pigment, glittery glow, full on metallic. For all of the issues I have with this, I have none of those issues with this one. So it really does give you that full opacity glow. I almost wish I didn't put on the glitter, because I could just take this right now and turn this into a rose gold smoky eye, but we're not going to do that today. And the last favorite came out of a Boxycharm. This is the Bare Minerals Integrity Lipstick. It was a pretty deep color, and I did try it on camera, and then I ended up using it with the Makeup Forever Free Burgundy Artist Colored Pencil. I linked that video up already, but I think the lip came out so beautiful in that video. It was like the right amount of vampy and red and fall and sultry. It was just, in my opinion, like one of my favorite lip combos that I've done in a while. So you will definitely be seeing a bunch more tutorials for fall featuring that lip combo. And that is the finished video of my favorites and flops for the month. As always, let me know down below what some of your favorites were. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking as far as products you love and products that didn't work out for you, because I try to use your recommendations as things that I should try in the upcoming months. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!